own line. And met by some very willing Auckland defence. And pushed back a couple of metres. Kieran Wallace just goes from dubbing half to pick up Darren Doherty. 25 metres out from his own line.
As now the Adelaide Rams make their way out onto Marathon Stadium for the first time.
Hello and welcome to the Rampage League podcast, coming to you live from the BrewBoys Brewery. And joining me here is Simon. How are you, Simon?
Fantastic, Darren. It's good to be back at the BrewBoys Brewery, having a beer and handing out stickers earlier too to some lovely people down there.
Yes, we've got quite a good crowd tonight coming into the BrewBoys Brewery, and we should start talking about rugby. What's been happening in the world of rugby over the past week?
So interesting here today that Joey Manu is leaving rugby league to go to Japanese Rugby Union. This is a big loss for the Roosters. Zach Lomax is leaving where's Zach Lomax play? He plays for the St. George Dragons, and he's going to Parramatta.
Right.
So that's interesting. Couple of signings, but Joey Manu leaving. That's going to Union. I don't know why you go to Union. Union is a boring sport.
It is,
but you get some decent money there. So why not? Do you think he's looking to maybe buy a few properties in Bondi? Maybe.
Do you think he going over to Rugby Union that he might be looking for a Wallabies spot?
I think he probably I think he's a Kiwi. So I think
All Black spot.
The World Cup's coming up, so a lot of rugby league players, they're kind of around this time, just before a Union World Cup, they're kind of trying to jump ship to get that World Cup behind them, because obviously the Rugby League World Cup it's really between four teams, isn't it? Australia, England, New Zealand, and now Samoa, where the Union is it's a big thing over in Europe. So maybe that's the reason behind going to Union, to get an All Blacks spot. I don't know why he'd want to leave the NRL, but maybe he wants that All Blacks jersey, because it's a pretty prized jersey to be an All Black. So that's probably what he's trying to do.
Absolutely, definitely.
Yeah. So I think we go on with our review of round 6. It was a good round of football. So we start off Thursday night, last Thursday. The Roosters played the Knights in Newcastle.
Yep.
And the Roosters won 22-20. Closer game than it should have been. It was a wet game. I was hoping Newcastle would come over the top and win, but they fell short.
Definitely, yes. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2.
Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
1-2, 1-2. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. Yep. That's yours. Oh, yep, there we go. Yeah, yep. All right, excellent. Okay. Sorry about that. Bit of technical gremlin there. And so we're talking about maybe looking at trying to improve his chances of a All Blacks.
All Blacks, yes, yeah, All Blacks. Joe Manu, last week he played really well for the Roosters. James Tedesco was out injured, so I think he ran for over 300 metres as a fullback, and twice he's been fullback in the last kind of 12 months, and both times he's pulled out records for his position. So when he played for New Zealand, he was like 400 and something metres, which is unheard of, really. Really, you think a fullback running over 200 metres is fantastic. To get over 300 was really well.
Oh, it is definitely. Don't imagine that, but that's quite good stats there, and
yeah. So we're going on to the review last week. So we started off with Newcastle and Newcastle and the Rabbits. I can't even speak. Newcastle and the Roosters from Bondi, and it was a close game, but the Roosters won 22-20.
Right.
And then Friday's game, the early game was the Storm versus the Bulldogs. Another tight game, 16-14. I put money on the Bulldogs to win, and they just lost. So it was pretty disappointing by the Storm and they didn't really play as well as... I think Craig Bellamy would have not been happy with their performance.
I would say not, no.
Josh Adokar scored a hat-trick, which is... he kind of kept them in the game. He played really well.
Yeah, yes, I'm definitely there, yes.
The Battle of Brisbane was the second game on Friday night. The Broncos versus the Dolphins. Dolphins, because they were coming into the ladder, they were coming first. And the Broncos just flexed their muscle as the bigger brother and beat them 28-14. There's a pretty good crowd too at Suncorp.
Yes, well, from the shots that the media showed, it did look like quite a good crowd at Suncorp. And
like Suncorp, have you been to Suncorp before, Darren?
No, sadly, no.
I've been there a few times. It's probably the best ground in the world to view rugby league for us. You're so close to the action. There's plenty of space between seats, so you don't feel like you're on top of other people. It's a really easy place to get to. Across the road, there's a train station. Like it's right in the city. There's Caxton Street down the road. Like there's plenty of places to eat. It's a good spot to have a rugby league ground. So good on Brisbane for that, but I hope they lose this weekend.
Yes.
So we go to Saturday, the early game in New Zealand. This one killed. Hold the Wall would have loved this. I wanted to get him on to have a chat about this game. So it was 22-all after, and we couldn't separate the teams. The Manly led 16-0, and the Wires came back. So just before half time, Luke Brooks threw an intercept pass to DWZ. All right, they didn't score that try. Things may be different. And then the last minute, DWZ again scored in the corner, and it was 22-22. Okay, because he got the conversion. Oh, sorry, no, it was 22-20. Okay,
That's right. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Then, they had the field goal. And Josh Alaa, he went to a charge and kind of touched him. We got a penalty for it. Should have been a penalty. It was nothing. And they kicked the penalty goal and it went 22-all, which it shouldn't have been. Manly with a better team. The Warriors done well to get back, but they had all the possession. They had so much possession, so much ball. If I was the coach of Manly, I would have been so angry with the decision by the ref to give a penalty for it. It was nothing.
Exactly.
In rugby league, and same with AFL, it's a contact sport. If you hit someone, that doesn't mean you're in the wrong. You don't get a penalty or free kick in AFL, but it was nothing, and they gave it, and then ended up costing Manly a 1 point. Saying that it's better than a loss, but it's kind of hollow feeling getting a draw.
It is, yes, yeah.
That 1 point though could help us later in the year when there's teams all on say 26 points. We might be 27 points, but yeah, the Warriors they came back, but I just feel like the ref just gave it to him really there. But it was a good game anyway.
Very good game, definitely.
So the second game of Super Saturday was at Combank Stadium in Parramatta, and it was Parramatta versus the North Queensland Cowboys. Cowboys can't win at Combank. They never win there. And like Parramatta were not in good form. They've got a few players out. Cowboys are in form. And they lost 27-20. I just didn't see it coming at all.
No, I can't say I agree. Yes, I didn't see that.
Yeah, the last game of the round of the Super Saturday was Cronulla Sharks versus the Sydney Rabbitohs, and the Rabbits had a few players out. They dropped a few players, and they were in it for a little bit. They played pretty well considering, but they lost 34-22. And the Sharks are now on top of the ladder, so that's interesting. And then we go to Sunday's games of the Dragons versus the West Tigers. I was hoping the Tigers would win this. They looked good early, but they just kind of faded a little bit, and then the Dragons came over the top. Zach Lomax played really well.
Yes.
And they won 24-12. Oh, and the final game of the round, the Titans versus the Raiders. Another close game. Which good. A lot of close games this round.
Yeah, it has been, Robin.
So the Titans came back in the ending, and they really should have won it. So they had a chance 10 metres out. Kieran Foran kicked a field goal, and the player was offside and charged it down. So it should have been a penalty. When I watched it, I didn't notice that he was offside, but I noticed that he could have stepped back. So when I see a player go for a field goal, if you're 10 metres out or 20 metres out from the line, and your dummy half passes back 10 metres, and you're that close, why not pass back 20 metres?
Yeah.
So you've got that extra time to set yourself, take your field goal without the line rushing up on you. So you got that extra time because they charged it down. So if he went back another 10 metres, even 5 metres, he would have got the goal. He would have won. Would have been their first win of the season, but he was offside. So always,
It's not. I have a thing about offside. It's not just with rugby league, but soccer. I watched the game, and then the ref signals offside, and I thought I don't understand, or I can't see where the player's offside. So it just really annoys me that rule in both rugby league and soccer. And
yes. But it was a good round, nice and close. I'm hoping for another close round, but we'll get to the preview a bit later. We'll jump on with one of our segments we love to talk about. It's the ladder watch segment.
Oh yes,
so there's some big movers in the ladder this week. So the top 8 reads the Sharks on top now. Have gone up. The Storm have gone up as well. The Storm seem to always be up there though, and it's kind of annoying. The Raiders, who a lot of people pick for the wooden spoon, a 3rd. Cowboys have gone down to 4th. The Dolphins have gone down to 5th. Penrith didn't even play. They came up to 6th. The Warriors and Manly went down because they got the draw. So that's the top 8. Outside the 8, a lot of people moved up. So the Roosters moved up to 9th. The Broncos moved up to 10th. The Eels moved up to 11th. The Tigers moved down. The Dragons moved up. And, of course, the Rabbitohs and Titans are still right down the bottom of the ladder.
Yes.
But the thing is about the top 8. So first place to 8th place is only 3 point difference. So it's a win and a half, and you're up though. And then there's 5 teams on 6 points outside the 8. They're 1 point out of the 8. So it's a close competition, except for the Titans and the Rabbitohs. Anyone can kind of be in the top 8, and that's what you want. You want a close competition. So obviously it's only 6 rounds into the competition. We'll give it another 6 rounds and see that's how everyone's faring.
It is. Yeah. So by then they would have had time to settle and yep.
I think the big reader for the ladder would be after Origin 3, because we have the split rounds, half rounds, players go out for Origin. After that, if you're kind of on the cusp of the 8 or outside the 8, it kind of makes it a lot harder to get in. But it is a long season. Injuries will be a big part of it. Nathan Cleary's still out for the Panthers, so like once he gets back, sure they'll rock up. Mitchell Moses is still out, so but we'll talk about that during our preview. Do you want to have a quick break, Darren, and we'll come back with a random rugby league?
We will. Yes.
Have you thought about promoting your business, event, or product on radio? Getting your product, service on radio is easier than you think. Consider sponsoring Adelaide's only dedicated rugby league podcast on Ozsports Radio. In return for your sponsorship, we offer fully voiced and produced sponsorship announcements played during the live recording and broadcast, as well as online promotion if that tickles your fancy as well. For more information, send an email to our marketing team at ozsportsonline.com.
Do you follow rugby league? Are you a passionate rugby league fan? Want to see a rugby league team in Adelaide? If you answered yes to these questions, then we want to hear from you. Here at the Rampage League podcast, we're looking for the next presenter. Someone who will bring their passion and enthusiasm to the Rampage League podcast. Someone who wants a rugby league team back in Adelaide. For more info, send an email to producer Darren at admin@ozsportsonline.com. You're tuned into the Rampage League podcast on Ozsports Radio.
That's right. Coming to you live from the BrewBoys Brewery down here in Croydon Park.
You were just doing that advertisement for a team in Adelaide. I noticed one of the guys in the crowd just shaking his head like, no, we don't need a team in Adelaide. We don't support rugby league in Adelaide. I'd like to know why you don't want a team of rugby league in Adelaide to bring more tourism to Adelaide, more games, sport in Adelaide. Interesting. He was just shaking his head like, no, I don't support rugby league. I'm not a fan of rugby league. We don't need it in Adelaide.
No, well, can't please everyone.
I'd like to know why though.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you want another professional team?
Absolutely.
Like, I don't support soccer. Okay, you like soccer? Darren? I don't like soccer. I think it's boring. But there's a team in Adelaide, and I support the team in Adelaide because it's like it shows Adelaide off to the rest of the country. Like Adelaide United plays Brisbane Roar, whatever it is.
Yep. Yes.
I'm always going to support Adelaide. You know, if Adelaide plays Wellington or whatever, I'm going to support Adelaide because if we have a team rugby league in Adelaide, I'll support Adelaide. You know.
Absolutely. Oh, for sure. Yes.
That's interesting. Yes.
Yeah.
I definitely think we do need a team in Adelaide. Some people don't agree, but if you've got a team, would you still support the team in Adelaide?
Exactly. Bring something up when we talk random rugby.
Yeah, yep. That's our segment now, random rugby league. So
okay.
Bring it up, random rugby league.
So I think it was actually the Adelaide NRL chat, or it might have just been online, that Peter Malinauskas is throwing money to sports, but not to rugby league.
Yeah, I actually seen it. So it was that the new stadium at the Barossa Valley for the gather round?
I think so, yes, yeah.
$20 or $40 million he's given to them. That could be a bid for a new team because NRL needs another team. There's we've got 17 teams at the moment. We need 18 teams. Talk obviously Perth. We talk about this every kind of couple of weeks. Perth, New Zealand, PNG, another team in Sydney, another team in Queensland. Adelaide needs a team. So does Perth. And after last year's Origin, we talk about this all the time. 48,000 people at Adelaide Oval. It's a lot of fans there that could support an Adelaide team. To say that they need another AFL ground in Barossa Valley, they don't need that. There's plenty of AFL grounds here. They've had to gather around here 2 years in a row. The crowds have been great. They don't need another ground, do they?
No. Just yeah. And netball has just scored some major money for it in major facilities investment. So if that shows obviously that the South Australian government have got money to spend in the sports arena. Yeah. Why not quarantine some of it and put some of it towards a rugby league stadium or team?
So if they've had a rugby league stadium, obviously you can play so many different sports there. So you can play soccer there because obviously the Women's World Cup this year was massive. Yep. Cooper Stadium is not suitable for international soccer, rugby union, even rugby league. What else can they play in there? It's just they need to say pull their finger out and get a stadium instead of spending money on Barossa Valley AFL grounds and netball. Like netball, obviously, probably doesn't get as much funding as AFL does, but the government needs to think about not just AFL. I feel like South Australia. Not even Victoria. Victoria are more mad about AFL than South Australia. Okay, it used to be VFL. Yeah, I'm not a mad AFL fan, but I know AFL. All right, and then I feel like South Australia is very one-eyed with AFL. I've never been to a soccer game here. I'm guessing they get decent crowds. Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah,
a better ground, kind of like a Suncorp Stadium. don't need as big, like they need a 60,000, maybe 30,000 for an Adelaide ground, so we can have maybe Bledsoe Cup here or something.
Yeah.
Like Origin again. But just the money always just goes to AFL. Like I drive around the city all the time, and there's just AFL grounds everywhere. There's a couple of soccer grounds, but I have not. Actually, in Elizabeth, there's a rugby league oval and a rugby union oval, but there's nothing anywhere else.
No.
They're very just one-eyed AFL. Like that's all they care about here. Yeah.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Last week you you got interviewed by Stacey Lee from 5AA.
Yeah, that was a bit of a shock. So I was at work and I get a phone call. I'm not answering that. I don't know who that is. I'm like, no, I got a voicemail and it was like bad reception. He's like, yeah, ring us back. Radio. I'm like, okay, what's this going on? I'll ring him back. Yeah, Stacey Lee, and she was amazing. She is a rugby league fan. She's from Western Sydney.
Yep.
She told me she used to go to South, and then she goes for Penrith because she dated a Penrith player. But she's all for a team in Adelaide. And her interview with her was great.
Well, let's hear the interview.
Oh, you've got it. Oh,
I do.
You put me on the spot here. I wasn't expecting this.
Aha. Yep.
When I was listening to Breakfast, they were talking rumours. They have a little rumour file chat on a Wednesday morning, and someone rang in. I mean, they're not called Unicycle, but that was the name given to this caller because it's an anonymous little chat. And this is what Unicycle said.
Unicycle, good morning.
Good morning, fellas. There is a rumour going around with South Australia wanting to have a team in the NRL, that there's a possibility within the next 5 years that the NRL are going to have a gather round in Adelaide.
Really? Gather round in Adelaide and a magic round?
And because that is the timeline that Vegas has done, and they won't be competing with AFL in Queensland, the rumour is that it's coming to Adelaide.
There you go. Is the magic round for the NRL coming to Adelaide? I heard that, and look, I wasn't overly excited about having a magic round in Adelaide, but what I was excited about was having more NRL in Adelaide. Last year we had the State of Origin here, one of the State of Origin games, and it was great. I loved it. My dad came over from Sydney. We went together. We watched at Adelaide Oval. It was like being a kid again because, yes, I grew up. Don't hold it against me, but I grew up in Western Sydney and I loved going to NRL games. What do you think? 8223 0000. Would you like to see a return of the Adelaide Rams? Would you like to see just a bit more NRL played in Adelaide? John in Modbury Heights has given us a call, 8223 0000. Hello, John.
Hello there, Sophie. Yeah, I'd love to see the NRL come to Adelaide. I follow the Warriors, and also I think I listened to an Auckland New Zealand sports show, and they were saying the other day, and they got a competition that is sponsored by South Australian Tourism about a Wales rugby team coming to Adelaide, and it's going to be a combined Australian New Zealand team playing a Wales rugby team, and the prizes were accommodation at the hotel at the Adelaide Oval, plus a roof climb, plus return airfares. And the people that ring up automatically get $250 and to win the prize to come to Adelaide to watch this game of rugby between Wales and an invitation Australian New Zealand team. I'm not too sure on the date, but it's sponsored by SA Tourism.
Oh, well, there you go. I'll have to look into it.
Yeah. I'm not too sure of the date, but and that's what the competition is all about. And they run it on their weekly sports show. People ring in and they've got to answer these questions to qualify for the draw, which is quite a good prize.
Oh, well, thanks for the call, John. That's a great tip. I'll have to look into it. That's John in Modbury Heights, 8223 0000 is the number. Give me a call. What do you think? Would you like to see the Adelaide Rams make a comeback? I think I know someone who would. Simon Rowland is the host of the Rampage League podcast. He's also got a change.org petition to bring them back. Hello, Simon.
Oh, how are you going?
Good. What did you think when you heard this morning? You'd like to see the Rams back?
Definitely would love to see the Rams back. I was pretty excited to hear the news
that magic round come around and then obviously have to see that would be fantastic.
Now, look, you and I probably know that we're in the minority in Adelaide in terms of rugby league supporters, but I don't think you have to be one or the other. I think you can like AFL and also enjoy watching an NRL game.
100%. We can't compete against AFL in South Australia, but there's definitely room for us having a rugby league team in NSA. We've got plenty of supporters already. We've got the Jump Back Army on Facebook, over 500 members there. I think that if we had a team, it'd be like alternative. When the Crows are playing in Adelaide, there's something others to watch them on the couch, watching on the TV, go to the game of live sport.
Did you go to the State of Origin last year?
I did. I went last year in my Adelaide Rams jersey, and we had about 9 or 10 people wearing old Rams gear. So I was there, 48,000 people, and a lot of people talked to us about the Rams. And I remember the Rams from '98. I thought it was big exciting to see other people talking about the Rams.
I need to get myself a jersey.
I've bought a few jerseys now, like a few hats, like old stuff you buy on eBay, and I wear it around, try to get people noticing that. I remember the Rams back in '98, so maybe you could get yourself one.
Yeah. So they were only around for a couple of years, the Rams.
Yeah, so '97, the Super League year, and then they were 1 year in the NRL, and then had to cut a few teams, and because the Rams weren't quite using them, they were the unlucky team to miss out. But at the same, so I think if the Rams were still around today, they'd probably be one of the most successful clubs in the NRL, because you see Golden Storm are so successful in the AFL now. So I think that we could have been successful if we were given a chance, which we weren't.
What were the crowds like when the Rams were here?
So the first year, the first game was like 28,000 people. I interviewed Jared Walters on my podcast, the Rampage League podcast last year, and he said it was like an Origin game. It was like a grand final. It was amazing. And then crowds still were good for that year and for the second year. The second year we were down the bottom of the ladder, but we still had the fourth best crowds overall for the season. So there's still plenty of people going to the games, even though they weren't successful. If we had a successful team, I think we'd be right up there with Brandon.
And I think that's the thing that people that have grown up with AFL in Adelaide don't get, is that NRL games aren't that highly attended anyway. Like, I remember going to even the derby between Panthers and Parramatta Eels, Penrith Panthers and Parramatta Eels, and that was like, the Western Suburbs teams. There's a real hatred and rivalry. It would be like Port and Crows having a showdown here. And, it was you were over the moon if there was 20,000 people there. So 20,000 is like, wow, for an NRL game.
Yeah, exactly. I remember going to the big game in Canberra, and you get like 6,000-7,000. At all. When you get 28,000 at a game in Adelaide, it's amazing for a rugby league team.
Yeah, all right. Well, might have to jump on the petition and sign it myself, Simon. Thanks for your time this afternoon.
Right. Probably 500,000 to give it time to try and get a team in Adelaide.
All right. We'll see what we can do. Simon, thank you. That's Simon Rowland, host of the Rampage League podcast, and that petition is a change.org one. Let's go to Paul in Pennington. He's on the phone. Hello, Paul.
Hi, Craig. How you going?
Good. What do you think?
Oh, bring the NRL match round to Adelaide. Bring NRL to Adelaide. I'm a massive Panthers fan, and I would give anything to see them come here. I've been over to watch them interstate. I've been to Magic Round in Brisbane. It's massive for the Brisbane economy, and people don't realise that you would get a lot of people from the eastern states coming over in a similar manner to what we had on last weekend. If we play spread games between Adelaide Oval and Highmark Stadium, it would be phenomenal for our economy. So, and the games are 80 minutes. They're close on a rectangular field. They're tough and hard. It's just wonderful. And I think people should probably give NRL or rugby league a bit more of a go, because it's a great sport.
Totally agree with you. And that's the thing. You could play them at Hindmarsh, because it's the same shape, and it's a good sized stadium for NRL games where you just can't play AFL there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Hindmarsh is a perfectly boutique rectangular stadium like the NRL grounds in Sydney. And if they brought a team back in Adelaide, I'd certainly be going every week, but I'd still be going for my Panthers.
Would you? Your Panthers diehard. Well, they've been going well lately as well, so good on you.
No worries.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Paul. Thanks for the call. It's Paul in Pennington, 8223 We might return to this a bit later and see what you think. Would you like to see the Adelaide Rams make a comeback, or maybe some more NRL games played here in Adelaide?
There we go. That was a great interview, Simon.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Simon, what he said. Simon sounds like a really smart guy. Knows his stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, 100%. If we had the Magic Round, same gather round in AFL, imagine this, the tourism would be great. Imagine having like gather round one weekend and then next weekend, the Magic Round in Adelaide, and the town would go crazy. Great.
I would, for sure. Absolutely. No.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
Absolutely.
agree.
Now, it'd be excellent for Adelaide to host a Magic Round, and hopefully that like, I don't think it's hopefully, I think it would prove that Adelaide, it can be a rugby league state.
I know so many sportsmen that come from Adelaide. You got Manasi Kokonakis tennis player. You got Lake Hewitt. Obviously all AFL players here. Rhea Ripley from the WWE's from Adelaide. So like, imagine if we could get a couple of homegrown rugby league players. I know there is one in the rugby league W who's from Adelaide.
Right.
I can't remember her name. I saved it somewhere, but with might try and interview her. She'd be good on here. But yeah,
yes,
locally made rugby league players from Adelaide. So I think that sport is pretty big in Adelaide compared to like say like the Gold Coast, where the Gold Coast have a rugby league team. Gold Coast are not known for sport, really, are they? Well, Adelaide.
That's right.
We got with the Crows, with Port, we've got the tennis here, Adelaide National, we've got Live Golf, we've got the V8s. We used to have F1 here. Like sport in Adelaide, it sounds good, doesn't it? Like,
it does. Oh,
I wish actually I wish that the F1 is still here. That'd be great.
Oh, wouldn't it?
They never should have got rid of it. Take it to Melbourne.
Yeah, thanks, Melbourne.
Bastards. Yeah.
Yep.
We don't like Melbourne, do we?
No.
No. Mexicans. That's up above them. So in Sydney, we call the Victorians Mexicans. So I don't know, we call them Mexicans in Adelaide because we're next door neighbours to them. So, but yeah, so let's go on with the preview for round 7.
Okay.
I'd love to hear your tips because your tips are usually pretty good at tipping.
No, thank you.
I'm very bad, but we'll see how we go this round. So round 7 starts off Thursday night from Allianz Stadium in Sydney. It's the Roosters versus Storm.
Ooh, this.
So that it'd be a good game. I know the Roosters have a few outs. Last time they played was their finals week, and that was the Storm won 18-13. So big in is James Tedesco's back from getting smashed a few weeks ago. He's back from concussion, so he's in.
Oh, that's a very good in there.
And Nelson Asafa Solomon is back from his weight camp, so he's back in. So they're pretty strong teams. Connor Watson's been named in the halves with Luke Kew for the Roosters, and Sam Walker's not back yet, but he's been named on the extended bench, so he might be a late inclusion. Think about Sam Walker. So he's the son of, is it Ben Walker or Shane Walker? One of them. So because they're twins.
Yes.
He's got their his rugby league background's pretty good, but he's a very small half. He's tiny, so if he's in defence, you want to run at him. He just looks like a child on the field compared to the rest of the players.
Yes.
But yeah, it should be a good game. It's one of those flip of the coins, really. The Storm are always great every year for the last 10 years, maybe more. So I think I'll pick the Storm just because you look at their team. They've got Ryan Pappenhausen, they've got Cameron Murray, Munster, Jerome Hughes, Harry Grant. They've got a good team, and I don't see them losing again like for a while here. I think they'll win by 12. What's your thoughts on the game, Darren?
After hearing you go through the teams and that, I think I'd have to go for Storm and they sound the more best team.
Yeah, they're well coached, and that's what I mean. Like they're Melbourne AFL town, and Melbourne have a successful rugby league team. You could. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the second game is from Wollongong. In Wollongong, believe it or not, Wollongong is in Wollongong. There you go.
Really?
Win Stadium. Okay. It's the Dragons versus the Warriors. There's not many outs for either team really. So Jack Bird's out. That's a big out for the Dragons.
Yes.
Jazz Tavunga's out for the Wars. I just think the Warriors are just a better team all over the park. So they should win. But at Wollongong, got to travel from New Zealand to Wollongong. It could be a sneaky Dragons win. I think the Warriors will win, and I think they'll win easily. What's your thoughts, Darren?
I think Dragons playing at Wollongong. I'm actually going to go for the Dragons, actually. I think
that's what I'm saying. They could win.
They could.
They've good team. They've been up and down this year, but if they're on Ben Hunt, could happen.
You could, absolutely.
The second game is Darwin.
Darwin, okay.
So Darwin gets a game, but we don't get a game. Darwin, okay, sorry, people who live in Darwin, is, for the lack of a better word, a shithole. That's what it is. We should have a game instead of Darwin. But anyway, that's another story.
Yes.
So the Warriors, I'm not Warriors. Still talking about Warriors. Come on, brain. So I can't get over the loss.
You're just trying to change my tip to the Warriors.
So the Parramatta Eels are versus the Dolphins in Darwin. Could have been in Adelaide.
Whose home game is this then?
This is a Para home game.
Okay.
So,
yes.
I'm not going to tip Parramatta. I can't do it. But the thing about the Dolphins, the hammer is out for the Dolphins. So their big fullback, he's been in great form. He's out.
Oh,
Done
right.
his hamstring. Okay, it was a last round against the Broncos, and there was a play that was dead. So the ref called a forward pass knocked on something. Old mate's run down the field, Corey Oates, for nothing, and Hammers chased after him and done his hamstring in a play that didn't count.
Oh,
So it'd be bad for the Dolphins fans. I only tip the Dolphins. I just think until Mitchell Moses gets back, I think the Parramatta Eels are going to be a bit inconsistent. So I'm going to go, Dolphins. What's your thoughts, Darren?
the heat, and it's usually quite warm
It'll be
in.
hot, humid. Yeah.
Yes, yep. So I'll go Dolphins.
All right, so we've got Saturday, the early game. This annoys me again. This is in Bathurst. So Bathurst gets a game, but Adelaide doesn't get a game.
So where are they playing in Bathurst?
It's Carrington Park in Bathurst. I don't know. I've actually been to the ground. I watched Manly play Penrith there, and I watched Melbourne play Penrith there.
Okay.
So in a couple of years in a row. So the Panthers play the Tigers. Can't believe this. Darwin get a game. Bathurst gets a game. Got a massive stadium here that could hold a game, and we don't have one. So as Panthers, let's go to the team lists. Nothing real different. Sonny Luke's out, and John Bay was back for the Tigers. The last time they played, the Tigers won, and the Tigers kind of have to water over the Panthers the last few years, which is no one really has. Only Parramatta and the Tigers can consistently beat the Panthers. But yeah, I'm going to say Panthers will win quite easily. I think they'll win by 13 plus. What's your thoughts, Darren?
Well, going on their current margins, they didn't start the season off pretty well, so I'm thinking maybe it could be the Tigers.
Yeah, it could be, because they've had it. There's a lot of ex-Panthers in the Tigers team, so they kind of know their structures, Happy Coruscant, obviously a massive player for the Tigers. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to it. I could put a cheeky bet on the Tigers.
Yes, yep.
So the second game, it's on the Gold Coast. And it's the Titans, and they have no chance of winning this game. I don't even know why we even review this game. It's Titans versus Manly. And this is massive because the team list came out. His name is Matt Lodge. He done his ACL last year and he was going to be out forever. He's back.
Whoa.
That's big for Manly. Jason Saab done his hamstring in Vegas. He's back. Nathan Brown done his quad or something in training. He's back. And Ruben Garrick, he had a HIA. He's back as well. So we've got 4 big inclusions. Ben Javovic is out though. And Josh Ola'e and Sipley's out as well. But the Titans they've lost Jaden Campbell, who's a big player for them, and they had so that last week they put AJ Brimson in the halves. He's been playing centre, and last year for many years he's playing fullback.
Yes, he has.
Campbell to fullback because he can't have 2 fullbacks. So where can we put this guy in? Now he's playing 5'8". He's not a 5'8". Kieran Foran in a halfback, but they've put them there. Desi's pulling his hair. I feel sorry for the Titans. I really do. But I know Manly will win by 13 plus. You just look at the team Manly have, and there's the bench even is strong. So we've got Aaron Woods on the bench with Nathan Brown.
Well, right, yes.
Some big boppers there, so
definitely.
I think we've got the Titans covered. The late game on Saturday is a weird one because Brisbane, usually the Broncos, they usually get a Friday night game all the time.
Right.
Or a Thursday night game. But they're playing Saturday night against the Raiders. The Raiders have been really good.
Yes.
Obviously, the Broncos have been inconsistent a little bit, but I really think that Raiders can win this. I really do. And I'm going to tip them. I'm going to tip the Raiders to upset the Broncos at home. I feel like the Broncos get a lot of 50-50 calls. I think the ref kind of favours the Broncos.
Right. Okay.
Reece Walsh is back. He was back last week. So, yeah, I just got a gut feeling the Raiders will win this. What's your thoughts, Darren?
Yeah, I like the Raiders. I think they'll get over the line this weekend.
So our Sunday game is 1:30 in Sydney at the Olympic Stadium. It's the Bulldogs versus, I said this last week, Newcastle Knights, but we've changed their name to the Adelaide Rams because they have the Rams colours. So the Bulldogs versus the Rams. What's your thoughts on this, Darren? I'll give you the team list, but first.
Okay.
So there's no different. It's the same exact team, basically. Kalen Ponga, Bradman Best, Jack Cocker, Jackson Hastings. I think, so the big thing about the Bulldogs is Viliami Kikau. He's been massive for them. Right. But I just think Newcastle are a better overall team. So the Bulldogs have some great individual players, but if one or two of them are off, I think Newcastle, aka Adelaide Rams, will win, and I think it'll be close. It'll be a 2-point game. What's your thoughts, Darren?
Yes, I'd have to have some Adelaide Rams. Yes.
Imagine if we could get Newcastle, because Newcastle, come on, their team relocated to Adelaide. They've got the colours sorted, they're ready to go.
Yep.
Maybe we'll give them a game a year or something. Okay, so last game of the round is the Sharks versus the Cowboys. The Sharks are on top. Cowboys were on top. This will be a good game. I feel like the Cowboys have a really good attacking team. James Maloney's their attacking coach, so since this year, he's really improved their attack. Last year, their attack was great. They beat the Tigers like 68-10 or something. So, and then they got the Sharks, are a good defensive team. So it's going to be a good game for Sunday afternoon. Hopefully it's not wet. Hopefully it's nice sunny day. And we get a big crowd at PointsBet Stadium in Cronulla. And yeah, I'm going to tip the Cowboys. Why not? Who are you tipping?
I'm going to go Sharks.
That's the thing. You could tip either, and you would like an idiot because it's going to be a close game.
It will be, definitely.
The bye has the bunnies. The bunnies need the bye because they are going terrible. Good on the bye. How about we go for another break, Darren? We'll come back and have our shout-outs.
Okay.
Results from the NRL and South Australian Rugby League. Listen to Rampage League podcast every Tuesday on Mixler.com from 6 p.m. to 7:30.
When kids play rugby league, they're part of something bigger than a team.
Whoa! Cool!
They're part of a community that's safe, fair
and fun! Play something unreal!
PlayRugbyLeague.com.
Yes, a great game. You should get involved and play NRL.
Yes, so it's good to see that's Rugby League SA is starting up soon. I think it's might have started now. I'm not sure, but we'll have to have a look at that. So it's good to see. I've seen a few things about rugby league in South Australia. A few training camps have happened recently, and ex-NRL players. So yeah, why not have a game?
Absolutely, yes. Yep.
So, so I'll start off with our shout-outs for the week. Okay, this is interesting. You can have a shout-out too, Darren, if you want.
Okay.
But shout-outs to Mossy, probably the biggest human in the world. He lifts a gazillion kilos at the gym, always at the gym. One of the nicest blokes you ever meet. Charlie. Charlie, he's a great guy. He always listens to the podcast. I think he supports the Dolphins. Or is it the Fairies? I don't know. Bobby, BDB. Bobby, thanks for listening, Bobby. Ashley, the Coltman, up the Coltmans. She loves her rugby league. And also Peter Malinaskis. Shout out to you. How about you pull your finger out and give us a rugby league team? Darren, any shout-outs, anyone?
It would be nice. I'm not sure of their names, but I saw a family last night there. The son that was in his Broncos jersey, Broncos shorts, Broncos hat, and so big shout-out to that lovely family. And to a gentleman and his mate today, one of them was in his Broncos shirt, so I'm not sure what it is about the Broncos, but starting to see them. So a big shout-out to those people.
Shout out to everyone who wears their rugby league jersey here in Adelaide, and shout out to all our viewers. Make sure you give us a follow on Facebook, and if you want a sticker, I got stickers now. I forgot to say that. Did I mention? I can't remember. No. I've got 600 stickers. I handed them out to the crowd earlier, and I gave you 1,000, Darren.
Yes.
If you want a sticker, just send me a message. I won't even charge you for it. Just give me a sticker, and you can put it on your car or on your fridge or anywhere you want, and you can just promote our podcast. The more people listen, the better for rugby league in South Australia.
Absolutely, and along with that, we should spruik the petition. That's a major part of what we're trying to do.
Definitely, the petition is huge, and just jump onto so we've got our Instagram page, Bring Back the Adelaide Rams. We've got our Facebook page, Bring Back the Adelaide Rams, with the Rampage League podcast, and it's all linked there. You can also join the Jumbuck Army Facebook group, so just search Jumbuck Army, and it'll come up. We'll ask you a question so you're not robots. Make sure you like rugby league. So far, we've got 517 signatures, so it goes up every now and then, like a couple of signatures there and there, but we're trying to get 1,000, and then we'll bring it to Parliament. We'll give it to the Shadow Sports Minister. He can go in and go, listen here, guys, we need a team. Here's our 1,000 signatures. Hopefully get some backing. Hopefully get some interest from Peter Malinaskis. Instead of giving money to netball, we can get some money for it. Doesn't have to be we always say it doesn't have to be the Rams. It can be the Adelaide Pirates. It can be Adelaide Fairy Godmothers. It can be a relocated team like the Gold Coast Titans or a team that struggles in Sydney, because Sydney have so many teams. They don't need that many teams.
No.
A team that struggles for membership, say, all right, relocate you, change your name, change your colours, and maybe get the town to vote on a team name. They have to be called the Rams.
No. It would be nice, but we would be accepting of another name, and even if it is a relocated team, we just want a team back in Adelaide.
Just some more rugby league in Adelaide. Obviously, we talk about it all the time. Origin here last year was huge, but they didn't really promote it at all. They had this little gathering in London Mall of 50 people. If they promoted the game properly, which they don't like to do, they just love to talk about AFL. So on the way to work, every time I go to work, obviously, I drive to work, I listen to the radio, I listen to Triple M. Not anymore. I've cut them away. So every time I get on, listen to it, they just talk about AFL like it's the best thing in fucking world. Best thing in the world. Can you bleep that out?
Yes.
Best thing in the world. Like, there's nothing else in the world that matters but AFL. So I went to 102.3 or something.
Yep, good old mix. And
that's better music and better content.
Well, it would be interesting to talk to someone from Sydney who does listen to Triple M and see if it's the same, but rugby league.
So
instead of AFL?
I've listened. I lived in Brisbane. I lived in Sydney. So Triple M does talk about NRL, but they do talk about AFL as well.
Right.
They have the AFL, like, because Sydney has 2 teams. So they do talk about AFL. When you listen to the news, like Channel 9, Channel 7, sport comes on, they'll do their rugby league, a fair bit of it because there's so many teams, and then they'll talk about the Swans and Great Western Sydney Giants.
Yeah.
Well, here, the news will be AFL, nothing about rugby league.
No.
Talk about tennis, golf, and whatever, and that's it.
Well, that's what I was really surprised about. And we actually were approached by Stacey Lee when she worked for another radio media outlet. That's it. Yes. Yep. And unfortunately, we didn't make the show.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's kept your number and now contacted you. And do you think there could be a slight change? It's just one media outlet, so let's not get too excited. But do you think there could be something if she was allowed to talk about rugby league?
Yeah. So I'm guessing she didn't just go, I'm going to put rugby league on today. She would have to ask, maybe, maybe there is a bit more interest that we don't know about. Obviously, we don't talk to everyone in Adelaide, but we have a little bit of a taste of what's going on. But yeah, the whole thing about the gather round and that, and not just having a gather round, just having like I said during the preview, Bathurst and Darwin to get a game. Just if we got a game, maybe you can have another interview with Stacey and we can talk about and just build it up. Get people because. People want to know there's a game going on if you don't advertise for it. So
that's it.
She likes rugby league. Have another interview. Get Kerrod back on because he loves the Rampage League podcast. Kerrod, if you listen, I'll send you a sticker up. And just as I keep saying, it's just obviously we're never going to be AFL, the rugby league state. AFL's here in Melbourne. We've got to get used to it. Sydney, Brisbane, they love the rugby league, but they've got AFL teams too, so it's not like you can't have both.
So we keep talking about Melbourne and the Storm. Do you think that's a model that if LA was to get a team they could look at?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Because when the Storm started, they had nothing. They had no juniors. They played at Olympic Park in Melbourne, which was like a running track around the outside. It wasn't really made for rugby league. It was just chucked in. And then they eventually got their own stadium. But now they've got juniors. They've got their own, I think it's the Thunderbolts, I think they're called. They play the Victorian Thunderbolts. They got flogged, by the way, last time I've seen them by Manly. But you got to start somewhere. You got to, if you don't start somewhere, you're not going to get anything. So baby steps to get a team here. I think Aiden was always saying, get us a New South Wales team first and then build in. But I think if we got an NRL team, took over existing New South Wales Rugby League, not even take over, but they can be a feeder club.
Yes.
And get players from Adelaide to play for the feeder club, get us into the NRL. It just makes sense, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. No, totally agree.
Yeah, it's just... I was hoping for these. Hopefully, people sign the petition. Not even if you like rugby, just if you want to support South Australian sport and tourism. Because if we get a team, money comes in.
It will. Oh, definitely. Just one other talking about South Australian rugby.
Yep.
Just looking on the NRL SA website and one of the posts that they put up caught my attention. Lyric Smith and Louis Gardner, two of the South Australia's up-and-coming under-18s players, travelled to Melbourne to participate in the Combined Affiliated States Academy, the CAS. Both players spent time training, testing and playing a trial under the guidance of the Melbourne Storm Pathways team. So, it was like two very good SA Rugby League products there.
Yeah.
And this we could be talking about if SA had a team, they could be.
They could be.
Yeah.
So
I guess what I'm trying to say, the talent, Adelaide definitely has the talent. It's just giving them pathways and hopefully to a South Australian team.
Yeah, 100%. And I know that the women's have an Adelaide team in the women's lower comps.
Yep.
So if we get a team in the NRL, we should definitely get a team in the NRLW. There's plenty of chicks who like rugby league in Adelaide.
Oh yes.
And it's talking about obviously. So we always talk about Rams and talk about getting a team, not just a team in rugby league. I'd love to see a South Australian rugby union team in the Super Rugby as well.
That would be good. Just like the Waratahs, the
Reds, Queensland Reds, the Western Force, and the Brumbies.
That's it. Yes.
They used to have another team that got cut. Melbourne Rebels still in it.
I think so.
They cut the Western Force and they bring it back.
Yes, that's right.
So you got Western Australia, Western Australia, Victoria, Queensland, New South Wales. So every capital city basically has got it except for South Australia. So if we get a rugby union team, a rugby league team, get a new stadium, Adelaide United can play there, rugby league team can play there, rugby union team, because I know there's rugby union around here. I've seen rugby league.
Yes, yes. If that's a possibility that maybe rugby union SA and NRL SA should put in a joint
bid, yeah.
But for the two
So
competitions,
a rugby league and rugby union, same identity, but just different, obviously, sports, that they could have the funding together, make it a bigger bid. It could work.
Share facilities and
that could happen. Peter Marlaskas, give us a call. I'll give you my number. I wouldn't put on the air. Imagine that. Get 1,000 phone calls.
Yes, yep.
So let's go on with what have I got left to talk about. It is the crystal ball, Darren. Now, this is one for you and me. I want you to have a listen to this one because I've got my point of view, but I'd love to hear your point of view. So, crystal ball, if the Rams were still in the competition, they never got kicked out, do you think they would have won a comp by now?
I'd like to see the team line up and know how well they've done, but yes, I think so, definitely.
I think we've been a lot similar to Melbourne Storm. Because the only team that stayed, we got the funding. I think, we could have been a Melbourne Storm. We ain't got 2 years. The crowd numbers were there. We didn't have the best team, but you don't just have a terrible team for the whole of the. You look at the teams now. So the West Tigers were down the bottom. Now they've got a decent team. The Raiders down the bottom. Now they're a decent team. The Panthers weren't always number one.
No.
So, Manly weren't always in the top 8. So where the salary cap is, we would have got a decent chunk of decent players come to Adelaide. And why wouldn't you want to come live in Adelaide? Why would you rather live in Adelaide, live in Canterbury in New South Wales or Newcastle? Wow. But South Australia has a lot to offer for us to live in. I think it's an attractive place to live as a sportsman. But as a crystal ball, I think we would have won a comp. I think we would have been top 4. I think we would have had one of the best crowd numbers, but we never got that chance.
No.
Yeah. Could you imagine today if we're still in the comp, walking down the street and you got old mate in his Rams jersey, because you can't buy them now, but if we still had it, we could have changed the logo, the sponsorship. It would have been the first player to play Origin, it would have been big, but we never had the chance.
No. It's just at the beginning of the Adelaide Rams. So we're just finding our feet, growing the brand, and then that's it. Yes.
So I remember I can't remember. I was on this podcast, another one, we're talking about how that the Rams were about to have their 99 season launch. It's like a week or two before, and then they got the phone call they're cut. So they had the jersey ready for 99, ready to go, just get cut. So if they didn't get that phone call, imagine what could have happened to them. They could have cut someone else. I really think the only reason they cut the Adelaide Rams is because of News Corp.
Yes, that's what I've always heard it was due to, yes.
If they weren't owned by News Corp, we could have still had the Adelaide Rams, which would have been great. But anyway, we have the podcast, and this is why we talk about Rugby League Adelaide, because we want a team here. And if we keep talking about it, we make enough noise, hopefully someone will hear what we're saying and take notice.
Absolutely, yes. That's what we're going to hope for.
Yeah, one thing we really need is another host. We say it all the time. We need a host, a fan of rugby league. You down there, you can be a fan of rugby league, can't you? No, she's walking away. She's like, she said she loves it. Eh? Yeah, she'd be a good host. So we just need a host. We need someone.
We do.
Not me and Darren, we're the backbone, but we need another member. Someone who's interested in being on radio and talking absolute garbage about rugby league right now.
That's it.
You don't have to be an expert. You just need to know a little bit and have a team just...
Yes, and be passionate. Enthusiastic, yes.
Love BrewBoys Brewery. Be good too.
Yes.
You love it here?
I do. I've still got my glass of one of their excellent drinks. Yep, I think I chose the crisp ale this time. It was very, very nice. So,
good lady, just to give me, what she recommended. It is really good. It goes down real well. If I didn't have to drive home, I would have had another few.
Yes, yep. It's just.
Do you follow rugby league? Are you a passionate rugby league fan? Want to see a rugby league team in Adelaide? If you answered yes to these questions, then we want to hear from you. Here at the Rampage League podcast, we're looking for the next presenter. Someone who will bring their passion and enthusiasm to the Rampage League podcast. Someone who wants a rugby league team back in Adelaide. For more info, send an email to producer Darren at admin@ozsportsonline.com.
There we go. Yep.
That's it. That is us. Yeah, so that's about it, Darren, for today. It's been a good podcast.
Yes.
And we'll do this again next Tuesday.
We will.
Hopefully have a good weekend in rugby league. If you're in South Australia and you've got a rugby league jersey, even a rugby union jersey, wear it around.
Yes, yep.
Wear something besides your what they wear in Adelaide. Polo shirt.
Yeah.
Your Adelaide Crows, Adelaide Pelt t-shirt. Wear something different.
Definitely. And if you're going to wear your jerseys, what we hope you do, shoot us a photo. Put your photo up on social media and tag
We'll put it on.
tag Rampage League podcast. We'd love to see you in your favourite team's jerseys.
Might even just carry some stickers around with me and hand them out and run them all. If you're wearing a rugby league jersey, I'll come up and just don't try and kill me. I'll just give you a stick. And
I might just have to sneakily go round to the office tomorrow and put one on everyone's desk.
Well, what is this? Listen to the podcast, you'll find out.
That's it.
Oh, Darren, thanks, Darren. It's been a pleasure again, and I'll see you again next week. Bring back the Adelaide Rams.
Go the Rams.
Adelaide to bring it out from their own line. And met by some very willing Auckland defence. And pushed back a couple of metres. Garrett Wobbers just goes from dubbing half to pick up Darren Doherty. Doherty, 25 metres out from his own line.
As now the Adelaide Rams make their way out onto Marathon Stadium for the first time.